Thursday, 16th of April. If yesterday's thought for the day was in any way profound, today's is more of a question, more of a wonder, thinking forward, and maybe even some homework of the day. A couple of days ago, in the coronavirus update, the Chancellor was giving information about the economy. He talked about how we face a recession or a shrinking in the economy when we come out of this eventually. But then immediately he talked about how healthy the economy had been when we went into this, and therefore we would bounce back. And so the following day, all the news programs were talking about bounce back. We're going to bounce back from this. How quickly are we going to bounce back? You know, there are sayings that have come into our vocabulary as normal that we would never have dreamed of a while ago. Lockdown, ramping up, and now bouncing back. But it's made me think, just how much do we want to bounce back to the way things were before? I think I've mentioned before that there are canals in Venice now free of giant cruise ships that have cleared, and the water is clear enough for dolphins to return. When I go for my Nordic walk in the forest, I seem to hear so many more birds. And others have said so too. You can hear them above the noise of the road because there's no one on the road. Nature itself seems to be breathing its own deep breath. Pollution is clearing. Air quality is improving. So what does bounce back look like? Will we bounce back to immediately going on our holidays abroad and our airplane journeys, if there are any airlines left? Will we immediately jump in our cars for every journey, or will we think about walking? Will I bounce back in such a way that my Nordic walking sticks go back behind the door, never to be seen again? Or will I continue with David to go for a walk through the forest when he gets home from work? What will bounce back look like for you? Of course we want to get back to work, and absolutely we want to get back to real church, whatever real church might be, but at least face to face, a hug, tea and cake. Nazarenes don't do anything without cake. Tea and cake, but shared together at the same table, along with the bread and the wine and communion. What does bouncing back really mean? So here's the homework. I'm told, or we've been told today, that it's likely, not made official yet, but likely we're going to have at least 3 more weeks of isolation. So I set you this challenge. Take some time over these next weeks to write down which things you really miss about normality as it was. Who do you miss? What are the things that are really important? The people who are really important. And what have you learnt about yourself in this time? What do you want to keep and what do you want to let go? Choose 3 things that you want to maintain when we leave this isolation. 3 exercises, 3 people you want to keep in touch with. 3 artistic endeavours that you found that you enjoyed, 3 nostalgic things that you've picked up that you'd long since put to the back of a cupboard. Think of 3 priorities that have changed and you want to do something about it when this finishes. Watch less television, do more art, read more books, ring your parents. I've been doing virtual snakes and ladders, virtual Ludo with my grandchildren. I've had a weekly Zoom game with my family. What's to stop me doing that with my family after this? Or will we suddenly all be too busy again? Listen to these verses from Proverbs. Proverbs 4, 6-7. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Wisdom is supreme. Therefore get wisdom. Though it cost you all you have, get understanding. Proverbs 10:13. Wisdom is found on the lips of him who has understanding, but a rod is for the back of him who is devoid of understanding. What have you learned to understand in the midst of what's been happening? And how are you going to turn that into wisdom, not just for lockdown, but wisdom for life? That's something to think about. Some homework for the next couple of weeks. What have you and God learnt together? And how are you going to maintain wisdom and understanding? See you tomorrow. Bye.